As the CCP's two sessions began, Chinese from everywhere were tightly controlled. The unanswered concerns have resurfaced regarding this session of the National People's Congress. CCP sets 5% growth target amidst ongoing economic challenges.
It's all covered in today's China Truths.
As the CCP's two sessions began, Chinese from everywhere were tightly controlled. As the two sessions approached, Beijing authorities were on high alert. Residents driving into Beijing had to apply for entry permits, while those taking the train had to undergo secondary security checks. According to visitors in Beijing, the National Petition Office is nearly empty because it is surrounded by interception personnel, making it difficult for visitors to enter. It was reported that from the 23rd, people driving into Beijing without entry permits would be immediately deported, regardless of which checkpoint they entered from. According to Gaoping Station information, from February 28 to March 12, those taking the train to Beijing must undergo secondary security checks. The kickoff of the second session of China's 14th National People's Congress, NPC, on March 5 at Beijing's Great Hall of the People signifies the beginning of another year of authoritarian rule and suppression of dissent. Scheduled to wrap up abruptly on March 11, this session serves as a chilling reminder of China's chronic economic instability and the looming threat of conflict over Taiwan. With nearly 3,000 delegates gathered, the NPC, a puppet show for the Communist Party, aims to concoct policies amidst a backdrop of economic turmoil and escalating tensions, particularly concerning Taiwan. In a ruthless display of control, the Beijing Municipal Public Security Bureau issued oppressive decrees on February 26, slamming the door on any semblance of freedom within the capital. Effective March 1, all forms of recreational and commercial drone usage are banned, while harsh entry permit requirements for vehicles entering Beijing have been enforced since February 23, threatening immediate deportation for violators. Dissidents and activists from regions like Fujian and Shandong are under constant surveillance, facing intimidation tactics ranging from soft detentions to forced relocation. Gao Yuzhou, a fearless voice in Beijing's independent media, condemned the suffocating atmosphere of the two sessions, highlighting the arduous journey for petitioners nationwide seeking justice amidst the iron grip of the ruling regime. Interception personnel are everywhere at the National Petition Office. Ms. Ma Bo, a petitioner from Heilongjiang, was detained by police at the National Petition Office when she presented her ID card for verification on February 26 around 1 p.m. She was unable to register because her ID card was confiscated. On February 27, she went to the National Petition Office to find the policeman, 030397, who had confiscated her ID card the previous day. She said, "There are hardly any people left at the National Petition Office, and it's not easy for anyone to enter. Many people have been intercepted, and some have been taken back in black cars. Now there are very few people, and it's very difficult for those who can enter to register because there are interceptions on the way, interceptions at the gate, interceptions everywhere." Yesterday, as soon as I entered the gate of the National Petition Office, a Beijing policeman and several plainclothes policemen from Jiamusi forcibly lifted my wheelchair and detained me in the police compound. The wheels of the wheelchair pressed down on my fractured foot again, causing a second injury to my right knee joint. My ID card was confiscated, and I became angry and had a recurrence of hypertension and heart disease. Beijing police openly violate the law and tarnish the law. The unanswered concerns have resurfaced regarding this session of the National People's Congress. Rumors swirl over dramatic fall of Xi loyalists. Political purges in China are a recurrent and contentious issue, where thousands of officials, particularly those seen as political rivals to Xi Jinping, face aggressive anti-corruption campaigns or are quietly sidelined. The removal of figures like former President Hu Jintao, forcibly ousted from his seat at a Communist Party gathering in Beijing last year, highlights the intensity and brutality of these purges. Such actions not only reflect the authoritarian grip of the regime but also sow fear and uncertainty among the political elite, underscoring the ruthlessness of power dynamics within the Communist Party. The dismissal of Qin Gang, a key Xi Jinping loyalist, from the post of Chinese foreign minister is shaping up to be one of CCP's biggest political scandals in years. Qin's rise had been linked to his closeness to Xi. He spent just 7 months in the role, the shortest tenure of any to have served, and mysteriously disappeared from view last month. There have been allegations of an affair with a TV anchor who has also not been seen in public since she posted a tweet including a photo of herself interviewing Qin on April 11, but analysts say an affair would not normally trigger a political purging on its own. No investigation has been announced, and it is still possible Qin's disappearance is health-related or that he is being sidelined into insignificance, like another former foreign ministry spokesperson, Zhao Lijian. But there are indications that Qin is in a lot more trouble than that, James Palmer, the foreign policy editor, noting the scrubbing of references to Qin from government websites. Another case of Defense Minister Li Shangfu, who has been missing from public view for more than 2 weeks, has been placed under investigation by Chinese authorities. The Financial Times reported, citing U.S. officials, that the U.S. government believes Li has been placed under investigation. The Wall Street Journal cited a person close to decision-making in Beijing as saying he had been taken away last week for questioning. U.S. Ambassador to Japan Rahm Emanuel on Friday posed the question on X, formerly Twitter, whether Li was under house arrest. The U.S. Embassy in Tokyo did not immediately have further comment. By September 3, 2023, his ministry had canceled a visit by Li to Vietnam for an annual defense meeting between the two countries scheduled for September 7 to 8, according to a Vietnamese official. Beijing told officials in Hanoi that Li had a health condition when it postponed the event, 2 Vietnamese officials said. Li's failure to attend that meeting and talks with a senior Singaporean military official in China the same week raised questions among regional diplomats and social media users about his whereabouts. The probe into Li follows China's unexplained replacement of Foreign Minister Qin Gang in July after a prolonged absence from public view and a shakeup of the leadership of the People's Liberation Army's elite rocket force, which is responsible for conventional and nuclear missiles. Chinese officials initially said Qin's absence was also due to health reasons. Both Li and Qin were seen by observers of Chinese politics as handpicked by President Xi Jinping, making their absence after less than a year on the job particularly notable. The two men had prominent public-facing roles and also served among China's 5 state councilors, a post outranking a regular minister. Speculation swirls around the display of military prowess. Xi's tenure as leader, now extending into an unprecedented 3rd term, has been defined by an emphasis on national security, sometimes at the expense of fostering economic growth and bolstering business confidence. China, renowned as the world's 2nd-largest economy, is witnessing a deceleration as the government tightens its grip on corporate entities and grapples with escalating debt levels following the bursting of a real estate bubble. Xi's strategic agenda is centered around security and foreign policies aimed at fortifying alliances with Russia and nations in the global south, while adopting a more assertive stance towards Western powers, particularly the United States. The convening of the National People's Congress, NPC, is expected to unveil Beijing's intention to escalate defense spending, yet this ceremonial act primarily serves as a theatrical display of authority, given that substantive decisions have already been finalized through behind-the-scenes deliberations. In discussing this year's NPC, DW News reporter Clifford Coonan sheds light on the challenge of deciphering the intricate decision-making mechanisms within China's political landscape. Despite the opulent grandeur of the NPC proceedings, the crux of attention remains on unraveling the intricacies of Chinese governance. Coonan underscores the meticulously choreographed nature of the event, where questions are carefully curated in advance, and any deviations from the predetermined script. It was a very stage-managed event. The questions are chosen in advance. I remember one year being told that maybe I could ask a question and then 2 days later being told what that question was going to be. So it's not, these are real questions, but in 1 year Reuters, the news agency, broke this pact and they asked a real question and it caused incredible trouble. Reuters was frozen out for ages. CCP sets 5% growth target amidst ongoing economic challenges. Within the opulent walls of Beijing's Great Hall of the People, the annual gathering of Communist Party delegates unfolds, cloaked in the facade of legislative proceedings. Despite its ostensible purpose, the National People's Congress serves as a mere puppet show, masking the party's true intentions, cementing power, silencing dissent, and advancing Xi Jinping's authoritarian agenda. Recent vitriol directed at the U.S. underscores China's territorial ambitions, particularly regarding Taiwan. The proclamation of a 5% growth target amidst economic turmoil reeks of delusion as the nation grapples with spiraling crises, from market collapses to real estate implosions. Premier Li Chang's hollow promises of reform fall on deaf ears, failing to address the systemic rot at the heart of China's economy. Investor confidence wanes, reflected in the precipitous drop of the Hang Seng Index. With demographic decline and structural decay eroding China's foundations, the charade of growth targets only serves to mask the impending collapse. The situation across all sectors in China has been noticeably unstable since the onset of COVID-19, spreading throughout provinces and persisting until the end of 2023 and into 2024 with no significant recovery in sight. Real estate, shipping, food industries, all have lost consumer trust. The Chinese Communist Party is no longer a priority for the people. Disappointment and discontent have long been brewing. When Xi Jinping assumed power a decade ago, there were high hopes for reform and a cleaner government. The robust anti-corruption campaign initially garnered public support, solidifying Xi's personal power. However, few could have foreseen his divergence from the path of reform and openness, leading to widespread dissatisfaction and unrest. On the eve of the CCP's 2 sessions, many netizens have compiled a list of the top 10 livelihood issues commonly concerned by mainland Chinese citizens, along with 8 suggestions, urging representatives at the 2 sessions to truly voice the concerns of the people, even though the public is aware that their appeals are likely to be ignored. Subsequently, on the mainland internet, netizens have reiterated the 6 highest demands on the CCP government from the grassroots, highlighting the unmistakable instability that is unfolding right in China under the leadership of the CCP. 1. Implement effective measures to bridge the income gap. Currently, there's a stark contrast between the high salaries of state-owned enterprise executives and the meager wages of ordinary workers, often facing delays in payment. 2. Crack down on food safety issues to ensure public health and safety. 3. Standardize employment practices in formal institutions by eliminating disparities between temporary workers, contract workers, and dispatched workers, ensuring equal pay for equal work. 4. Allow each private car to travel a certain distance for free on highways annually to alleviate holiday traffic congestion. 5. Provide free treatment for cancer and major diseases to prevent patients from falling into poverty due to medical expenses. 6. Abolish oppressive property management practices and allow homeowner committees to autonomously govern residential communities. The facade of the CCP's 2 sessions crumbles under scrutiny. The abrupt cancellation of the Premier's press conference in 2024 exposes the regime's deceit. While feigning concern for national matters, the CCP's leadership reveals its vulnerability and reluctance to confront pressing issues. This cowardice underscores the internal discord and instability within the party. It's imperative for the international community to acknowledge this charade and commence the countdown towards dismantling the CCP's authoritarian grip on power.